friends, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Katelyn and I like to film eyeshadow palette ranking and review videos, as well as the occasional other content sprinkled in. So if you like indie makeup, if you like eyeshadow palettes, if you like me, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button because I post 2 videos every single week. And for those of you that are not new here, my face is happy that you are seeing it again. And I am so excited for today's video because Gourmande Girls gifted me their new, I think it's Gourmandises? I should have looked this up before I started filming. But this is their new palette. It's like ice cream themed. So we are going to do a look with this palette today. I wanted to do a multiple look palette, but I'm actually going out of town tomorrow. So we're just going to do one look, but if you want to see another look with this palette, definitely let me know in the comments down below and I can try and put up a short or something with it. I know when I'm asked before, because I do a revisiting my monthly palettes, I don't typically include PR palettes unless I don't have a ton of palettes to feature in that. And so far, for the month of August, I haven't bought anything. We'll see if that remains to be true. But anyways, let me know in the comments if you want to see more looks of this. But let's go ahead and get into it right now. The first look. So let me tell you some info. The palette is vegan, cruelty-free, 12-month open container, made in the PRC. There is talc and mica in the shade ingredients, and then it is a 15-pan palette. It is a little bit smaller than their Peach Perfect palette, which is also 15 pans. I'll show you for like size comparison. So there is the size, and then I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm going to put the price for this one over here and the price for this one over here, just to show you the difference. Let's see weight wise. Net weight, 175 grams, 145 grams. So it's 30 grams lighter. And then here's like the inside, so you can see like the actual pan size difference. Just quite a bit of a difference in the pan size. So just wanted to highlight that. I think there's one multi-chrome in here, and then there's at least like one multi-chrome, 2 duochromes, I would say. I don't know for sure. It's hard to tell because sometimes if you have certain lighting, it shifts multiple ways. Sometimes you can only see like a double shift, and I've only done swatches, but I feel like there's at least 2 that looked like duochromes, possibly multichromes, and one that's for sure a multichrome. So there you go. Yeah, but just wanted to go through that. And now let's do a look. It is what they called their like pastel palette, which typically I'm not a huge fan of pastels, but they have deeper shades in here, so I think I will get along with this one okay, because it's not like a true pastel palette where it's only pastels. I just don't like all pastel looks. I like to combine pastels with other shades. So what I want to start with is the shade Violette down here. It's this pale purple, pastel purple, and probably shocking none of you, I would like to do a purple and orange look today since I'm wearing an orange dress. So we are going to put the pop of orange up here in the front. I've been feeling an orange pop lately. I don't know what that's about. Is orange like a good color for the... Peach is the color of the year, right? The Pantone color of the year. I think that purple is really pretty. Really pretty. All right, so now I'm going to go into Raisin, which is another, I guess... I think this is the deepest of the purple, but I'd say it's pretty mid-tone. It's very bright though. And I was gifted this with no obligation to post or do any content. They just asked if I wanted to try their new palette, and I said yes, because I've been really into their palettes lately. So yeah, so I'm excited. Peach Perfect is quickly becoming one of my holy grails. I was obsessed with the Silent Night palette from Holiday last year, and then I thought Haunted and Nightshade were the first 2 palettes I ever tried from them. But yeah, I've been feeling those. I like the collab they did with Steph's Beauty Stash, but it's a little too bright for me for like a cohesive color story, so it's not my favorite as like a standalone, but I do think the shades are really pretty in there. I also think it fits Steph. If you watch Steph's videos, you know You know the kind of makeup look she does. I feel like when you blend, you lose a lot of the pigment of this darker purple, which I know it's supposed to be a pastel palette, so they maybe weren't prioritizing pigment as much, but I really want this to be a darker purple. Okay, I feel like we got there. I'll just stop blending. All right, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. So now I wanna go into the shade Tropical, which is the orange. These mattes are seriously so soft, but there's not like a ton of kick up and pan. So I think that's nice. I'm sure I'm blocking my audio by having the palette right in front of my face like this. Okay, and then I think we're gonna go blue and purple. I think that's just what we're gonna do. So we're gonna take the shade Caraco. I think that's how you say that. Just light blue. This one was kind of difficult to pick up on a brush. And it was a little bit funky to swatch. It turned out really pretty, but it sort of feels like this, like, kind of like a creamy texture, but it feels dry. I don't know how to explain it. So it might be one of those more like flaky shadows. We'll see. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a little bit of a more flaky formula. The kind that's hard to pick up on a brush, but definitely has a lot of sparkle and dimension to it, but also a lot of texture. So if you're not a fan of that, you probably won't love this shade. Personally, I'm a fan of all different kinds of shimmer formulas as long as I get like a variety. So if you give me chunky textured shimmers, also give me some smooth ones so I can, you know, kind of feel out my vibe for the day. Okay, now I'm going to take the shade Sorbet, which is the dark purple shimmer. I don't love when my darkest shade in a palette is a shimmer. I guess I could try and pull in this blue. I might do that. Oh, you know what? On the eye, it's not the darkest. It's not, it's a little bit darker. I don't know that that looks that bad. I might try and pull in that blue still anyway. And you do have a dark green matte, so it technically the darkest shade isn't a shimmer. It's just it feels darker than the purple matte. Okay, let's just see how this blue shade would layer. So this is the shade Mirror, I think. And I'm just gonna try and put this in the outer corner to see if that can make things a little bit darker. Yeah, I feel like that helped. This shade, there is quite a bit of kick up in the pan compared to the purple and the orange mattes, just as a heads up. So I definitely think it's one that you're gonna wanna tap your brush. Damn it, I keep like, the shade Raisin for sure blends away. Like you have to be so careful with it. And I keep like blending it away, putting it back, blending it away, and then it's like messing up my crease. We're not gonna swipe, we're just gonna tap and see what happens from there. I still think it looks jacked up. Okay, this is essentially the look. I'm gonna try and clean this up because I'm not really quite loving what is happening with this crease, but I'm gonna try and fix it, and then I will come back and show the finished look. Here is the finished look, and I've got some thoughts. So I went into this thinking that, yes, it's mostly a pastel palette, but you have some non-pastel shades. So I did a look where I'm trying to like build up the shades like I normally would do. I feel like you can see in my crease that did not work well. I spent a lot of time trying to like play around with it and get it to a good point, but these shades don't build on each other. And I want to highlight the fact that pastels typically don't build on each other. Like that's normal for pastels. I just thought because these shades looked darker, could they do it? But this shade Raisin blends out and has almost like a pastel-y hue to it when it blends out on its own, and it like just kind of like blended away into violet. I bet I could have used this shade on its own in the crease and it would have blended out fine, but layering it on top of violet, it did not work. And then trying to bring in Mirror, it worked a little bit better, but we like, this is it's a patchy mess over in that corner. This corner looks slightly better, but you can see, like, see where mirror is supposed to be on top of that purple? Like, it's not working. So I don't love how this look came out. I mean, like, I like the colors of it. I just don't think that I should have applied the shadows the way that I did. I think I would have been better off putting the like dark blue and then the like and blending them like next to each other and having like a tiny bit of overlap, but they do not like build on each other. Editing me here. So I actually did do other looks with this palette. I didn't film them because I didn't have time. I have a picture of one of them that I'm going to put up on the screen. Anyways, I blended the dark green shade into the tan shade matte, those two mattes, and didn't have any issues with any patchiness or anything. So at this point in time, I'm not sure if it was the dark blue shade that just didn't work that well for me, but I think it was more than likely that I layered too many pastel shades on top of each other, and then that dark blue shade just like didn't really have a good base to work off of. I think if I had used the dark blue shade with just one of the purple shades, it would have worked fine. I can't confirm that, so I'm trying to be, objective here, but just wanted to say that if you blend the other dark shade, which is the dark green, with just one shade, it works no problem, no issues. So I think it was a me issue. Anyways, that's all. Oh yeah, but like you have this like really dark green and this minty green and this like mid-tone green. I'm like, maybe those would work better together. I don't know, but like the orange right here into this purple, like they worked so nicely next to each other. Oops, just hit my mic. So I feel like that's more traditional to pastels. So I'm not saying anything, like I don't think anything is necessarily wrong with this formula. I think it like the mattes feel really soft and all of that. I just think it performs like a pastel, and I treated it like not an all pastel palette, and they did say that it was mostly pastels, but these darker shades perform like pastels, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna have to mess around with it and play with it a little bit more. I'm kind of bummed that I can't do multiple looks for this because I feel like that would have been better. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more content with this palette on my channel. I will definitely continue to play with it and, share more thoughts like in my palette rankings, palette paloozas, and all of that. So that will be coming as I play around with it more. But yeah, I think if you like pastels, I think the pastel shades are really pretty. I will say if you have, like I have my favorite pastel palette, which is the BellaBeauteBar Pastel Garden palette. And like, I have pretty much every pastel shade in here. So if you don't like use pastels a lot, like, I don't know if you need it, but if you don't have that palette or you don't have a ton of pastels, I do think they're very pretty pastels, and they will pair really nicely with a lot of different palettes if you're like me and don't like to do standalone pastel looks. I also think like if I just did like, the blue with the blue and did like a pastel shimmery eye, like I think that would be super pretty on its own. It's just, you have to think through a pastel palette differently because like I said, you can't like layer like you can with other shadows. So yeah, let me know what you think of the look in the comments down below. But that is everything for me. Pretty sure my mother-in-law is here with my son, so I will see you all next time. Bye!